we've been fighting all kinds of problems this year. Over the off season, the chassis specs changed gauge-wise on the tubing.
Kyle Busch and Tony Stewart are keeping an eye on 23 Taiwan Racing and Front Row Motorsports combined antitrust action against NASCAR and CEO Jim France, which was filed in federal court in North Carolina earlier this month. And they've now expressed their perspectives, and one is glad he's quitting the sport, and the other may be wanting to exit soon as well. They certainly did not keep back their opinions on what was going on between the teams and the French family. At Atlanta Motor Speedway in September, only 23 Taiwan and Front Row declined to sign NASCAR's final charter proposal. They sued NASCAR and France, accusing them of unlawful monopolization of premier stock car racing in order to enrich themselves at the expense of the premier stock car racing teams. Busch is no stranger to charter drama. Just over 2 years ago, the 39-year-old lost his seat with Joe Gibbs Racing after longtime sponsor M&M's backed out. He subsequently joined Richard Childress Racing, which he believes sparked the charter issue between NASCAR and its teams. "I was sort of the catalyst to this process of what's going on in the charter agreements," Busch said. "When I was with Joe Gibbs Racing, we lost our main sponsor M&M's as they pulled out of the sport, and I was left without a job because we couldn't find a replacement sponsor." Teams have spent the previous 2 years negotiating an extension to the original 2016 charter agreement, which is set to expire on December 31st. Teams demanded permanent charters and a higher share of TV income. Charters in the current concept are not permanent franchises, as they are in other professional sports leagues. Teams can lose their charters if they perform poorly on the track or do not field their cars on a consistent basis. As a result, most racing teams lose money each year. Busch feels that clubs should receive more cash, like other sports in the United States do. "Other sports are healthy," Busch explained. "They're a lot healthier than ours. NASCAR is a great family sport, and we have these opportunities of supporting one another at a lot of times and through a lot of good and a lot of bad," he said. "But as most families do, sometimes they fight." Kyle Busch had a difficult 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season, but things look brighter for him and Richard Childress Racing in 2025. Busch spoke exclusively about his aspirations for next year with Richard Childress Racing. "We've actually kind of already been working on that a little bit," Busch said. "We have run stronger since the Olympic break that we've had this year. Our team has come out after that break with a couple different faces on it and new players in places that have made us a little stronger. We have had better runs. And so that's been a big part of what we've been doing already that we can do. And then, of course, also through the off-season, we've got some new people that are joining our team and our organization at Richard Childress Racing from other organizations or from Stewart-Haas Racing, which is closing down at the end of the year. There were some really good folks over there that have taken positions with us, so we're excited to get them on board and get them in and start the process." Busch has yet to win a race this season and has not finished in the top 10 since finishing 7th at Atlanta Motor Speedway prior to the playoffs. However, the two-time Cup Series winner had several great takeaways from this season. So Busch isn't too happy about the lawsuit and is patiently waiting what will happen. For Tony Stewart, however, it will be the last 2 weeks in the sport for him, and he's actually glad he's out. The nonsense surrounding the teams and the lawsuit have taken its toll this year. And as Tony Stewart enters his final weeks as a NASCAR team co-owner, he says he is at peace with his choice to close Stewart-Haas Racing, especially given the current lawsuit. Stewart-Haas has won NASCAR Cup Series championships in 2011 with Stewart himself and 2014 with Kevin Harvick, and the team has 3 more chances to add to its current win total of 70.
When we knew that this was the direction we were going this year because of Leah starting a family, I sat down with her and I said, "Listen, you're never going to hurt my feelings telling me I'm doing something wrong." I said, "You're only going to hurt my feelings if you don't tell me."
"This is the right time," Stewart said. "This was never a part of a master plan. But as this year has gone on, this has become very clear that this is the right time for me to get out of the sport. There's things that I see that I definitely don't like. And I'm happy doing the stuff I'm doing now. I've always been somebody that's ran all kinds of different series." Against the backdrop of persistent challenges to acquire sponsorships and manufacturer backing, SHR's 300-plus employees were notified in May that the team would be closing. "The reason we did the announcement early in the season was to try to take care of all of our people," Stewart said. "I got so blamed for people losing their jobs. Well, there's companies left and right that shut down. Look at COVID. How many people had to shut down? Nobody was screaming about how employees weren't taken care of and what it did to their families. We did what we did to take care of our people, and we created great severance packages for them to take care of them and their families. I would say over 80% of the employees at SHR have found homes for next year. The bashing I got online and on social media was very unjust through the process. It's easy to sit on your ass, on a chair, on your couch in your mom's house and sit there and tell us how we're doing it wrong. But nobody can seem to sit there and come in on Monday morning and tell us how to do it right. I feel like our group did a great job of taking care of our people the best that we could, and with the right intentions and with the attitude of our employees came first. And that's what the focus has been this year, is making sure that we do everything to take care of our employees in a season that's a transition year for everybody.
And she knows that I don't want to be good at it. I want to be great at it. And anything that, even if it's a decent run or a good run, and I did everything okay, how can I make it better?
Stewart stated that he recently visited the SHR offices to bid farewell to some of the personnel. Knowing that when I left the building there, here's some of those people I've known for 16 years, and I may never, ever see them again, unfortunately, he said. I don't know that it's even bittersweet. It's more bitter than sweet. It's a tough decision. But things in life change, your priorities change, and variables outside of your control change as well. Some present SHR staff may remain in the facility once the new Haas factory team takes over, which will use the one SHR Cup Series entry retained by co-owner Gene Haas. Stewart's emphasis will shift to his NHRA program and sprint car squad. NASCAR is going to be healthy. It's going to survive, he said. It always has. It always will. But I'm happy at this point in my life to make this change. It wasn't that way at the beginning of the year. We had different reasons for why we had to shut down at the end of the season, but as time has gone on and watching the owners and NASCAR fight and just the chaos that's going on over there, I'm fine being done with this at the end of the year.
My wife that drives the car normally, I'm just the fill-in driver while she's pregnant right now. We're about 5 weeks away from her giving birth to our son.
So keep criticizing. Smoke doesn't care. He understands that he has done everything he can in this sport up to this point. You will not find him second-guessing this decision. Tony Stewart has a lot on his plate with his NHRA career as a driver owner, his ownership of Eldora Speedway, a sprint car team, and his impending fatherhood. So it's easy to understand why he would leave NASCAR at this moment. Stewart won't be second-guessing himself here. Tony Stewart, who is not a fan of the current legal struggle, is relieved to be leaving. 2 titles, 70 victories, and several memories, including the last victory at Darlington with Chase Briscoe. This is the end for Stewart Haas Racing, and as the lawsuit keeps going as it is right now, it probably won't be the only team leaving NASCAR. What do you think? Will more teams leave the sport in the coming months or years due to the current legal action? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.